to the Craig Ferguson Show. Too scared to call? That's okay. We won't bite. Live from the shed at the bottom of Craig's garden because he's so lazy he only wants a 15-second commute to work. It's the Craig Ferguson Show.
I am very happy in my talking shed today. It's the 100th episode and Shirley Manson is here. Yeah! Shirley, I'm so excited you're here because guess what?
I already know the answer to this question.
What is it then?
You are... Well, first of all, this is your 100th show. Yay!
Yeah, all right, yeah. Nice stalling, then.
And secondly, you are going to my home city of Edinburgh.
Yes.
In a few days.
Yes, I'll be there on Monday. I'm very excited.
So jealous.
I'm absolutely crushed that you're not going to be there. It's so sad.
I know, because I was just there about 6 weeks ago.
All right, okay. And but that's because you're on tour with Garbage.
I am on tour.
Which is your band.
Yes, which is, well, yeah, we're getting to the end of the tour now.
All right.
So
is that it? But so the band will stay together.
We've got a few more weeks left and then we're done.
Right. And when's the Blondie stuff happening? Is that the Blondie one?
That's happening.
Oh, it's
as
happening.
We speak.
Right, okay. Yeah,
Not this very second,
I can't keep it straight, obviously. And you and Debbie Harry, of course, a bitter feud since the 1990s.
Very bitter.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting. Backstage rage.
Yes.
See, when you joined Garbage, were they already called Garbage?
They were.
Because I think...
And I protested it.
Did you really?
Yes. I was ignored.
Yeah, well, clearly. But here's the thing. I always think bands choosing their names is one of the funniest things.
Oh, for
It's
sure.
totally neglected in rock and roll. That bands go, right, what do you want to call... What about the Beatles? But we'll change one of the E's to an A so it'll be like Beat. You go like, that is so fucking lame. But then they become the Beatles and it's not
And
lame
then it's
at all.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. But I don't know. I've never particularly enjoyed Garbage. And as the years go on, it gets worse.
Really?
Whoa,
Yeah.
it gets worse.
Yeah.
It really does. I just wish I had a different name, but I don't. So.
But you have your name and
But
you're
I
very...
hate my name, my actual Christian name, Shirley.
Yes.
Can't believe I said Christian name. Where did I pull that out?
Well, I think that you're just letting everybody know that you're...
I'm a half a century old.
No.
But, I've always hated the name Shirley too. That just gets worse and worse too. So maybe I've just got a thing.
Why don't you
a
change
phobia.
it to Charlene?
Because there might be a little confusion there. You see, there's
Yeah.
another Scottish singer by Charlene.
Oh, is there?
No, I wanted to be called, and this is a really sad admission, I wanted to be called Indra.
Oh, that's...
I wanted something...
weird. Why did you want to be called...
I just thought it was a really gorgeous name, and I wanted something a little sort of mysterious. And,
Right.
And, I don't know. I
think it's... Listen, that's fine. I think it's a lovely name. I always wanted to be called Adam.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Are
yeah.
you serious?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And now my friend in Scotland, I have a friend in Scotland, a very good friend,
Adam?
and his name's Adam Ferguson.
Well, Adam's a really common name in Scotland.
Yeah, I know. That's why I wanted it. I didn't want to be called Craig. I never met him to be called Craig until I was about 35.
Oh, come on. Craig is really common in Scotland.
Now, not back in the
Oh,
before
congrats,
times.
yeah.
Like I'm talking, this is Scotland before the Enlightenment. When I was a kid, when I was a fat wee boy rolling my hoop.
But hold on, when you were rolling your hoop
Yeah.
and you wanted to be called Adam, was it for religious reasons?
No, absolutely not. No,
Well, why Adam?
No, if I wanted to be called anything for religious reasons, it would have been.
Asshole.
No, it would have been John Knox. We were Church of Scotland. Oh, boy.
I was raised in the Church of Scotland.
Were you really?
Oh, yes.
John Knox, who founded the Church of Scotland, big pals with Calvin.
Correct.
And he wrote a book. Joe, you probably have never heard of this book.
Joe's looking scared.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he wasn't. He was probably anti-Semitic, but that's not the point.
Sure. That wasn't what he was known for.
No, what he's known for is found in the Church of Scotland. He pissed off Elizabeth I, who hated him, because he wrote a book called "The First Blast of the Trumpet Against the Monstrous Regiment of Women."
Where the hell did you pull this out of?
I'm telling you, this
I am
is true.
impressed.
I know about John Knox because I studied him a little bit. He's fucking crazy.
But why were you studying John Knox?
Because
okay,
he
you're
founded
getting
the church.
weirder and weirder by the second.
No, really.
Yes, you really, really are.
Well, then you're just going to have to call me Indra. He wrote a book because he wrote this thing about how women couldn't be leaders. That was his whole theory, that women are really bad at leading. And of course, Elizabeth I was a little upset by that.
Absolutely, being a great leader.
Right. Well, certainly very good at
which scary one.
Yeah. And then he wrote a follow-up book called, you'll not believe it, The Second Blast of the Trumpet Against the Modern...
Are you having me on right
Not at all. And when he was about in his 50s, which was, at that period, that's like being 90 now, he married a 17-year-old girl and they had 3 kids.
Well, that's not so scandalous. People are doing all that crap all
Yes,
the time.
well, they had because, everybody died in childbirth. Women died in childbirth all the time, so,
Well, hold on, though.
What?
Let's back up.
Yeah.
Why were you studying John Knox?
Well,
and where were you studying John Knox?
Well, I didn't study him formally. I never studied him formally.
You chose to read up.
I chose to read up on John Knox. I'm fascinated and remain fascinated by religion, and particularly because I'm not religious at all. I'm fascinated by the stories that people tell themselves for comfort.
Yeah.
From different, like there are libation rituals in ancient Egypt, which mirror almost exactly the communion in the Catholic Church. And I think, that's fascinating that humans have had that blood waver thing going on for a long, long time.
Long before Jesus, then, if it was back
absolutely. But, they change, like the festivals and holidays and all that. And, people get very upset when you start talking about that because people think that if you challenge any religion, not usually theologians are usually kind of quite interested in an interesting.
Being that they study
study religion, yeah. Or even people in religions, like some of the most interesting talks I've had have been with Jesuit priests, and I'm not Catholic at all, or even but
even close to it.
Well, I'm quite close to it in the sense I've been very close to Catholics as they were, as we were fighting each other at school. But because that was the big sectarian divide in Scotland. Was
particularly in your part of the Scottish country.
Yeah, it was in Glasgow and Cumbernauld. It was the Protestant Catholic was a very bad thing. It was there was no one else to hate.
To explain to the listener, this is because Scotland on the west coast is very close to the Irish, and there was a large influx of Irish.
Right, that's right. And so there was a lot of trouble between the Scots and the Irish. And during the Troubles in Ireland, there was a lot of, crossover. But anyway, the thing, the thing about, so I became fascinated, I guess because I saw so much trouble with the kind of nitpickiness of religion when we were kids.
And it goes on today.
It still goes on, yeah. People get very angry about it. You say, no, that historically didn't happen. They get very, yeah, it did. And then there's nothing you can say. It was like, I don't think it did because look at this. But, I think people get very upset if you challenge their beliefs. Whereas I'm the opposite. If you challenge my beliefs, I'm quite interested in having my beliefs challenged. I think that's quite nice.
I feel the same way. My dad was my Sunday school teacher.
Right.
And he is now, he's just about to turn 80. And he still is very religious and goes to church every Sunday and continues to try and get me to become a religious believer.
Well, I think that's good. I think that's quite interesting.
But I find it fascinating that he still at 80 still wants to convert me. Like I'm wondering to myself, Dad, why don't you just give up the ghost and accept that we just have different beliefs? But he cannot accept that I have a different set of beliefs than him. And that's, I guess, what I have a problem with organised religion, is that seems to be the case.
I think that's right, because I think that if you are someone, fundamentally I enjoy being challenged on what I think.
Well, that's how you learn, right?
Right. And I think a lot of people fundamentally do not enjoy being challenged on what they think because what they think is right.
Or they feel that they're being shown up as not knowing.
Right, or you're making me wrong. I'm
not
making you wrong, I'm just asking you a question. It's interesting because the figures that I have become, I'm kind of working on a book right now that involves some of these people, and one of the figures I'm fascinated by is St. Thomas Aquinas, who run about the same time as the birth of the Spanish Inquisition, a terrible, oppressive, murdering rampage that the Catholic Church went on. That he was trying to marry the teachings of Aristotle to the teachings in the Bible to try and make it easier for people to get in. He was trying to, in essence, widen the doors of heaven to allow. He wasn't an unbeliever, but he started. I think he didn't actually say this, and maybe I'm going too far. But you start to get, and I'm saying it in the thing I'm writing. But I started to get to think that he lost faith in the church, but he didn't lose faith in
philosophy,
in the philosophy or in God. And that I find fascinating. I find people like that are very interesting to me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I find any form of religious practice fascinating.
Yeah, it's kind of odd, whether it's tribal in something you don't really know, or just like something very alien to me, like Far East, or in Scotland where you bang a drum and yell at each other. I mean, it's like
we're simple people.
Yes, we are. We like it to be loud. And we were talking about our least favourite songs.
Oh, God.
Now, I'm going to ask you yours. I'll give you time to think. I'll tell you what mine was.
I don't need time to think.
Oh, you know it already?
Oh, that's awesome.
I know two.
All right.
That leap to my mind.
Right.
One would be my humps, my lovely lady lumps.
Yeah, that's a terrible song.
But the one that really, and you might relate to this because we're roughly around the same age.
I'm older than you.
I'm only a poor little sparrow.
Oh, yeah.
That song
was that
was a
again?
huge hit, I think in the 70s, possibly, yeah.
Was
early 80s, but I think it was in the 70s.
Was
I
that
was
Liza
at school.
Minnelli?
No, it
Not
was
Liza Minnelli.
wasn't. Oh, and Grandpa, we love you.
Yeah, I hate all
Grandpa, we do. And that was number one for what felt like an eternity.
Well, it's round about that same period. I was talking to Joe about the song I hate above all others was a song by an artist called Charlene. That's why I brought it up. A song called I've Never Been to Me. Do you know that song?
This is ringing a spell. I've been such and such and such, but I've never been to me.
Right,
yes, I remember this.
Ghastly. I've been undressed by kings, and I've
right.
seen some things that a woman ain't supposed to see.
Oh, yeah, it's
awful.
vile.
Yeah, no, I really don't like it. It reminds me, when people like things, right, really like them, and it's with you. Religion is good for this. Like, they really like it, and you really don't like it, you have to keep quiet about it. My guilty secret is Forrest Gump. I fucking hate it.
I hated Forrest Gump.
It's a terrible film.
I love you, Craig Ferguson.
A terrible film.
I hated it.
Do you know the only time I admitted it? Because everyone else was on it. When the woman who's now my wife, she's like, I hate that movie. I went, oh, the bile and hatred in you is very attractive to me. She's like, that is a misogynistic movie.
Oh,
and
I thought it was dreadful.
Yeah, I hate it. I hate that movie. And also, another one, American Beauty.
Oh, no, I loved American Beauty.
No.
No, you're wrong, Craig.
Oh, see, I quite like having my beliefs challenged.
However,
yes.
how do you feel about Titanic?
Oh, I don't care for it at all.
I hated that. I walked out of that.
Right, no, Megan really, really hates that. She won't hear
Megan
of it.
and I need to get together. We're
Yeah,
clearly very similar.
I think you are actually destined to be friends.
We have the same taste.
You really hate the same stuff. No, I don't care for Titanic either.
I hated that movie.
What did you hate about it?
I thought it was really cheesy.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
I just thought it was
Yeah,
really
it was.
cheesy.
And then,
Which is weird because I love Kate Winslet and I love Leonardo DiCaprio, but in that movie together, I wanted to vomit.
Is separating the art from the artist. This is the problem thing. We were talking about Wagner with Joe because he's Jewish and Wagner was the anti-Semite.
That's right.
It's
getting very highbrow in here today.
Well, we can drop it at any moment. It's just kind of enjoying it, though. It's our 100th episode. We're treating ourselves.
Oh, quite right.
Yes,
quite
we're having
right.
a nice
Treat
time.
yourself.
Treat yourself. Well, you'll be going back now. You're going to Edinburgh tomorrow.
No, you are.
Oh, no, I'm going to Edinburgh tomorrow.
I've been.
You've been. Now, what's the first thing you do when you get to Edinburgh? Do you stay at your parents' house?
Oh, God, no.
Good.
No,
Good,
I've still got my own place there, and the first thing we generally do is we go and walk along the beach because I'm right beside the sea.
Oh, that's nice.
And then, of course, we get.
So you're outside of Edinburgh town?
Yeah, I'm in Edinburgh, but like literally the last footsteps before you hit Musselburgh.
Okay,
which
right,
is
got it.
where my family are from.
From Musselburgh?
Yeah.
My granny was that's kind of
sounds cool. It sounds like
Musselburgh.
Muscle Beach and Venice. There's
no,
Musselburgh
it's not Muscle.
No,
it's not
darling,
like that.
no.
All right.
Not muscles as in pumped muscles, but muscles that come from the sea.
Oh, that you eat, or
we
some
eat.
people eat. Yeah.
Well, the Scots eat.
Oh,
yeah. Do you eat mussels?
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
I eat everything.
really?
Almost
I
everything.
hardly eat anything now. I drink
That's why
water
you
and
look
worry
good,
about myself. I drink coconut water and go, oh, I'm fat. I'm still fat. I can't believe I'm still fat. And then I get up at night and cry and eat leftover pizza and
Yeah,
pretend I'm
see?
a vegan.
Yeah, you're a proper Scot.
Yeah.
We're all at that.
Self-hatred. Oh my God.
It's brutal, isn't it?
It is. I don't really understand it.
I don't know where it comes from either, but it exists for sure.
In
But hold on.
Yeah.
Do you have siblings?
Yes, I do.
How many siblings
I have
do you
one brother and two sisters.
Okay, now where are you in the pack?
Third.
Okay, because you're kind of a middle child in a funny way.
Yes, absolutely.
So you were forgotten about and you had no identity, and I think that's where it comes from.
Oh, yeah. Is that what you are? Yeah.
I think actually it did come from just, feeling I had no props for being older, no props for being the baby, just a sort of
Are you
drifted
the middle of
in
three?
the middle. Aye. And I always got hand-me-down clothes. I never got new clothes.
Yeah, that was me.
Stuff
yeah.
like that.
I was fat as a kid as well.
I wasn't fat.
My nickname was Tubby.
Is it really?
Yes.
That's cute. That's hot.
I was a fat wee boy in shorts, and I think
that's really cute.
I think it stays with
Tubby.
you, that discomfort.
Can I call you Tubby?
You can call me Tubby now, because now it means
It's not your
something.
life.
Yeah, it's cute.
Yeah, it's now I'm different. Now I just hate myself. It's a different thing.
I think a wee bit of self-hate, though, is not altogether a bad thing. Like, I read a
Yeah, I
lot
agree.
about we must learn to love ourselves. And I feel like, you know what? Nah.
No,
I think it's quite good that maybe we're a wee bit tough on ourselves sometimes.
I think so. Yeah, a wee bit angry with yourself. Oh no, don't! You know that kind of stuff. That's naughty. No, you're bad, and smack your own bottom and stuff.
Okay, he's getting really weird in here, people.
Yeah.
I'm beginning to feel a wee bit shifty.
Yeah, and I pull my own hair.
I'm looking
Oh,
at Joe in embarrassment and hoping that
Run,
this
save yourself.
this ends
You can't do
quickly.
anything about this. When this happens, just let it play out.
No, listen. Self-hate, I think, in moderation is not a bad thing. Self-pity as well. That's another one.
No, see, I don't like self-pity.
I like a little bit of self-pity. Little bit of
No,
self-pity.
that's really boring.
No. I'm not talking about too much. I'm not, it's everybody else's fault. But what I think is, like, when you're bad, you go, what would I do for somebody that I liked in a situation
Now, that's
like this?
self-forgiveness. That's not self-pity. That's actually much more evolved than self-pity.
Oh,
You know
okay.
this.
Yeah, I know, but I'm playing with words.
Yeah, well, don't.
All right. Well, I'm trying to find a way to make the doors of heaven easier.
Forgiving yourself is really powerful. Being sorry for yourself is really boring and kind of...
How do you
pathetic.
forgive you? How do you forgive yourself then?
Well, if I had the answer to that, do you think that I would be
Waste
sitting
my
here
time in
talking
your
to
talking
you?
shed. No, I think you would.
I don't know, but I think I struggle to try and forgive myself.
For what?
For all kinds of things, like I'm, loud and I'm careless with people and,
Yeah, I hear you.
I bulldoze through situations and I'm completely unaware of certain things. Everybody does that. Everybody hurts everybody else.
Yes, that's true.
So I guess what I'm trying to get at is the self-pity thing is you're feeling, oh, the world did this to me, oh, poor me, whereas the self-forgiveness thing is, okay, you have also hurt people, therefore you have to be aware that it's not just coming down on your shoulders. You've come down on somebody's shoulders too.
Sure, yeah. I think you beyond... I mean, there's lots of ways to look at it, but...
Hey, let's go to the spa. What do you say?
I could use a
Yeah.
spa day. I could.
I think we've gone nuts, Craig.
I
think we've gone nuts.
I've been away from Scotland for 10 months. I am absolutely out of my mind.
Yeah, you're going to get the sense knocked into you
I
on Monday.
really have. I tell you, I remember my first ever gig as a stand-up in Scotland. I walked out the day after. I was walking down the street near the theatre, and I'd done the Bing Hitler thing, and it had gone really well. And this guy shouted, "Oh, Bing!" across the street, and I went, "Yes." I was all full of promise and everything. And I went, "Yes," and he went, "You're a cunt." And I was like, "Oh man." And then he was like, no, I enjoyed the show.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't even
But
understand.
that's a sign of deep respect.
I know, I don't understand
In
it though.
Scotland.
I know, but
Yeah.
I still don't really I get frightened to go back and perform there. I haven't performed in Scotland. This will be the first time I've been at the Edinburgh Festival in 23 years.
That is incredible. I'm so sad. I'm going to miss it.
Yeah, I'm not really performing. I'm just doing the show, but still, you know,
that's
it's
a performance.
This is who I am with headphones on.
Okay,
This
fair
is
enough. I can attest to that, actually.
Yeah.
But that's incredible. But I know what you mean. Going back to your home
Yeah,
town or your
tricky.
homeland it's different.
Well, I mean, I can get attacked in the New York Times or or the New York Post, and I have been, and it's like, yeah, all right, who cares?
Yeah, whatever.
You know? But if you give me a bad review in the Scotsman, I'm like, oh,
That's
jeez,
devastating.
Sheesh. And I know I'm going to get them because I've never had it, but
I'm the same, though. They never give me a good
No,
review.
I've never had good reviews over there. Never, for anything that I
think
can
we
recall.
get on their nerves.
Well, yeah. Just sitting here in your swanky shed in your garden doing a radio show. You go, I don't even like the name Garbage, my platinum selling band. I don't even like the name.
Shut up, you.
Yeah. But it's kind of, I think you do irritate people sometimes if you leave town.
But you're not doing your job if you're not irritating people. That's the other thing you have to remember.
Yeah, I know, that is true.
If you're not making enemies, you're doing something wrong.
You should be winding up some people a little bit. If you try and please everybody, you end up Billy Bush. You know, or...
I always get confused when you use his name because my husband's name is Billy Bush.
Oh, no.
So I always get...
right,
when you said that, I was like, Billy Bush? My husband?
No, not your husband.
The Billy Bush.
The other Billy
from
Bush.
From Entertainment Tonight.
Like, not the good Billy Bush that you're married to.
The poor soul.
The poor soul Billy Bush.
Yeah. I just saw that he's on his way back, though. I read that yesterday.
I think so, but I don't know. I mean, it's such an odd business because he's got daughters. Every time I met Billy Bush, he's fine. He's very nice. And I think what he does is he lets everybody...
push him around a bit.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, you have to... Like, if people start saying things that you don't like, you have to say, I don't agree with that, or something. You know?
I agree, but I can understand that there's not every personality is like that.
I know.
So I do feel
everyone
like
in Scotland is like that.
Everybody in Scotland's like that. I mean, they pull you on your shit 24/7.
Unbelievable.
But I think it's different in the entertainment business. You would know this better than anyone. Like what that pressure is to
make it
keep
okay for
everyone
assholes to be assholes. Yeah, it's tricky. I think early on when you're trying to be famous or be rich or something, I think it's much worse because you really desperately want. You have that Hollywood thing. I just want to succeed. I want
to be loved. I
right.
think a lot of people just want to be loved.
Right. Yeah, I want to be loved. I want to conquer the resentments of high school by being visibly successful. But
nobody's going to call me Tubby.
Yeah, that's right. How Tubby am I now? How'd you like this, you bastards? But the weird thing is, I think as you get older, I start to kind of... It's not even just self-forgiveness, it's forgiving them as well. Like, when I went back to Scotland with a late-night show, it was a couple of years ago, it was like 2014 or 2013, something like that. Mm-hmm. I was terrified of going back because we had, it was like I had a big production crew and a big American thing, and we were going back to Scotland, and it was great, and everyone was really nice. And I thought, oh wait, I think what happened was that they weren't it wasn't a dark, horrible nation. I was in a dark, horrible place in my life.
Of course.
And I thought it was Scotland. It wasn't Scotland at all. It was me.
No, Scotland's brilliant.
I know it is. Now I'm totally in love with it again. And I'm like, I'm sorry for saying all those rude things about you, but I was angry.
Yeah.
And I really get that now. I was like, it wasn't them at all. It was me. And I'm kind of fascinated by that. And I'm kind of a little embarrassed by it as well.
I don't think you should be embarrassed. I think that's part of human nature. We all sort of reject everything we come from and then somehow if we're lucky, we come to terms with it as we grow into sort of adults and
then hurtle into 50s.
I like it.
55 was a little nerve-wracking.
How old are you?
55.
Oh, you look good though. Okay.
Thank you. So do you. I mean, but you're almost 40 now.
No, I love being 50. I'm serious. I actually feel a great relief.
I know what you mean, actually.
I'm serious. I'm like, oh, thank God. Oh, I don't need to pretend to be attractive anymore.
Come on.
No. But do you know what I'm saying? Like, I used to really torture myself going out. It might be slightly different for you two because you're male and there's a slightly different expectation of a man in a society.
Okay.
But I used to feel a real pressure to have perfect hair and like wear the right outfit and be glamorous or be attractive. And now I'm just like, oh.
But you are all of these things. I'm sitting looking at you right now, and you are glamorous, and you are attractive. But it's true, you are. You are.
Nobody ever said I had a healthy psyche.
Oh, right, okay. That's right. Okay, I was forgetting that for a minute.
I feel a relief. When I hit 50, I'm not lying. I feel like, oh my God, A, how lucky am I that I'm still alive and I have a good life? And B, whoo, I can kick up my heels now and not feel so self-conscious, I suppose.
I think that's right. Sometimes I kind of like, I panic a little bit because I see myself in the mirror sometimes and I go, Jesus Christ, it's my dad.
Who the hell is
well,
that?
I've gone from my dad to, God, it's my grandpa. You know,
oh, come on.
No,
Stop fishing for compliments.
No, I'm not. I'm really not.
The curse of a good-looking man.
No, I think I don't look in the mirror a lot. Don't get me wrong. I just look at it in the morning, make sure that it's not scaring people, and then at night going, oh well, that happened.
No, I'll tell you what is the worst one. Is when you're on your phone and you're like, oh, I'll send a picture to my niece or something, and then your finger slips and it goes past the photo onto the camera.
Yes.
And you catch
yourself. Yeah.
That's dark.
I know.
Because you're like, whoa.
But the other thing about it as well is that aging is such a kind of like, everybody's doing it. It's not like you're the only one it's happening to. It's just that I remember when I was 30 and there was so much time. And it doesn't feel like that anymore. I'm like, it's kind of limited.
But I feel less panicked. Strangely enough,
it's because you've been successful, I think, though, don't you think? If you hadn't been been a rock star, because I remember seeing you when you were you must have been about 22 or 23 when I was watching you live, maybe even younger.
I was watching you.
Whoa. When I was outside your house in Musselburgh looking in the window.
Looking through your window.
Yeah. No, but when you went Goodbye, Mr. Mackenzie, what were you, 21, 22, something like that?
Yeah.
You were very young. And I was there. I was in the audience. I was part of that scene. I remember you. You were a face in that scene. And if you had not been a rock star, like a lot of the other girls that were part of that scene, I wonder how it went for them. Do you keep in touch with anybody?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah?
But I feel like, I don't think success by itself is an answer to a happy life.
No, I totally agree with that.
I know, and you, I'm sure, know even more than I do, but I know a lot of people who are very successful, really famous, have a lot of money. They're miserable.
Absolutely, that's really true.
Yeah.
But there is a thing about it, I wouldn't negate it either. Like, you know, for me, the success that I've had is partially, it's not the answer to problems, but it's helpful a little bit.
Of course.
Because I think if you don't recognise you've done something, then you haven't done it. You know, if I came to America to, you know, be rich and famous, and that's partly why I came here to America, and I got it. And if I say I didn't get it, or I dismiss it as being something that's rubbish, then why did I come? You know, it wasn't just for that. But that has value, I think, in itself.
But you're a very awake person. You're not somebody who just sort of unconsciously stumbles from A to B. So I would go as far as to say, just knowing that you in the tiny way that I do, that you would have eventually had a good life no matter what you did, even if you hadn't become famous.
I think I hope that's true. I think that's true. I think you're right.
I think
that's
sure
probably true of you too. Then.
I think that is true.
So you're right.
But we are both lucky. Let's we not forget. But I don't think that's the answer at all to people's problems.
You know what is the answer though? Commercials.
Hell yeah.
They pay so much money.
Yeah, everyone's problems. And if you have a problem, we might sell you something to fix it.
There could be a product coming up that'll help you out. We'll be right back.
The #2 show in the world, The Craig Ferguson Show.
I think that jingle in particular is a little excessive.
I think
it sets up an expectation of something really exciting
that
is going to happen.
we can't deliver on.
Yeah, it's like, yes, things are happening. And then you get back and go, oh, well, we're here in the shed talking.
Well, I feel like we've gone back in a time machine and we're now in like early 1980.
Oh, that's kind of nice. Yeah, that.
Is it?
Well, why not? Let's see. Early 1980, I would be coming up on 18 years old. You would be
14.
14. Let's not go. This sounds illegal. Let's go to 1980, about 84.
Okay.
Now
I'm performing on stage with Edinburgh Youth Theatre at the Edinburgh Festival.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to go and see all those shows.
I know, it's
so
cool.
I can't wait.
What else are you going to do when you get to our homeland? Tell me.
I'm going to have...
What's the first thing you do?
I usually have a cup of tea.
Oh, that's nice.
Nice cup of
Scottish
tea.
water does taste different.
It does a little
It
bit.
does.
Yeah.
Tea in Scotland does taste better than tea here for
I
some
agree.
reason.
Yeah, no, a good cup of tea. What do you do when you first get
Hold
there?
on, we're not talking about me.
All
I asked.
right.
I had the question.
Well, I'm here every day. You're only here today, and then you're off on tour.
Yes, but I have questions. I
All
have
right.
a lot of questions. So, what else do you do when you're home? Like, what do you like to do? Like, what do you look forward to?
I like to watch British television.
Yes, great.
It's really good.
Especially the news. Actually, the news is
Yeah, the
great.
news is very. And now something very unpleasant.
From the BBC.
Yeah, no. It's always very believable as well. I always think, all right.
And earnest.
Yeah, and it's kind of. And in America, Donald Trump did something terribly naughty. Everyone's very upset. So look out for that coming up after these messages. Oh no, they don't even have that.
They don't
even
that.
have these messages.
Oh,
We
that's
have
nice.
No messages.
No
It's
messages.
lovely.
They don't have messages.
No, but you pay for TV. You have to have a television license.
Are there things that you like to eat
Oh,
when
yes.
you're in Scotland that
Yes,
you can't
I
get
can see.
here?
You're leading the witness.
I am
but
leading the witness.
But, yeah, no, I do, of course.
Okay, what?
Well, I like to eat potato scones.
Ooh, good choice.
Potato scones
Oh,
are
yeah.
very delicious.
Right.
I like to eat Lee's macaroon bars.
Oh my god, I love Lee's macaroon bars.
Lee's, more if you please, and then no more of that commercial because
Yes, we know.
it's very bad.
Yeah.
But
Do you like Tunnock's tea cakes?
yes, I do eat Tunnock's tea cakes and caramel wafers.
Caramel logs.
Yeah, why am I saying there are
Oh,
caramel
they're
wafers?
wafers. Yeah, there's wafers.
But
and
caramel
logs.
logs. But caramel logs is the ones with the coconuts on.
Correct.
This is making everybody in America very jealous they're not Scottish.
So they're just like, what are those two numpties on about?
No, they don't say numpty out there. But what are they saying, numpties?
Right, do you eat haggis?
I do, but I eat
Veggie
I'm
haggis.
veggie haggis. McSween's veggie haggis from Edinburgh.
Really good.
Unbelievable.
That's just round the corner from my dad's house.
Really?
Yes.
So if I go to McSween's when I'm in Edinburgh, could I go and see your
give
dad?
us a shout, yeah.
Yeah, I'll go and see your dad. And will your dad try and convert me to Church of
You
Scotland?
might.
See, I think I think that, you ever see Brideshead, you ever read or
course,
see Brideshead?
yeah.
I
I've
always
done both.
think that's something I suspect might happen to me. Like when I get old and I'm dying, I'll return.
Hold your teddy bear and be weird like Sebastian.
that's what I wanted to be when I was
me
young.
too.
I was like, I want to be a dipsomaniac and have my gay lover in Morocco and everything. But I was just ended up a fat guy in Glasgow. But that's not the point. How the old Brideshead returns to the Catholic faith that he rejected his entire life, and he lives with this sexy broad in Venice, and then he comes back to this austere English woman. Sorry to spoil this if you haven't read it. And and he goes back to being a Catholic just before he dies, so he can get the last rites. And it's kind of weirdly tragic.
Yeah.
I think that will probably happen to me with the Church of Scotland.
Really? Do you really think so?
No, I don't know. I haven't. I mean, if you knew you were going to die, what would you like? What arrangements would you make?
I have already told my husband explicitly what I want to do. Well, I'd go to Switzerland if I knew I was dying.
Mm-hmm.
I'd go to Switzerland. I'd develop a moderate heroin habit,
Right.
and I'd restart smoking again. I'd drink.
All of these seem
I would
like a
drink
good ideas.
heavily.
Yeah.
I would wrap myself in cashmere. I'd bring my dog, put any animals that I had around me in my bed, and then I'd have my husband give me the
heroin.
the heroin to let me go. And then I would have beautiful music playing and my favourite books, and I would just go
Why
slide
Switzerland
off.
though? Of all
Well,
places.
because it's legal. You can do it in Switzerland, can't you? You
Oh.
can,
Well, you can-
check out in Switzerland.
I mean,
Right?
I see. So your
Isn't
husband,
euthanasia,
so your husband wouldn't be
legal?
up for murder then.
Well, I don't see it that way, and neither does he.
No, that's what I mean, though. But the law might see it that way if you
Of
weren't in
course.
Switzerland,
Correct.
right? So, but that's like an interesting plot for a movie. What if you're like, oh baby, let's go on holiday to Switzerland, and he's going to murder his wife?
Well, of
Or-
course.
We heard on the radio
Yeah.
that she said that's what she wanted.
Yeah, so we're like, oh, yeah,
no.
yeah. But then, so it turns out the good Billy Bush was not the
Not
good
so
Billy.
good.
Oh no, he's the murdering Billy Bush. Oh no, that's horrifying. No, that can't be true.
Don't give him any ideas.
No, come on, it's
No.
fine. He's the. Was he really mad when that Billy Bush thing happened? Was he like, oh come on?
I'm sure I told you this the last time I was in. The
Right.
amount of abuse he received via social media
Oh, you know what? I
was
think
astounding.
you did. Yeah. Oh God.
It was astounding.
Oh jeez, that's terrible.
It's
Oh,
really
man.
unfortunate.
See, when Ferguson, Missouri started popping off, I was on tour and I was in St. Louis, which is like...
I was with you.
Right, you were with me.
Yeah, we were in some other part of town, but the curfew was still going on.
The curfew was on, and everybody was worried about riots, and my name's Ferguson, and in front of the theatre it's Ferguson tonight, and I'm a middle-aged white guy with a spotlight on me, and I'm the only one on stage. There's no band for me. It's just me and a spotlight and a microphone.
That was weird.
It was an odd... Everyone was fine. The gig was fine, but it was like... I felt very strange.
Self-conscious,
yeah. So every now and again when I'm performing, I think, I'm a pretty easy target here. You know,
do you really?
I do sometimes, yeah. It's in certain gigs I've done, I've thought I don't like the vibe here.
It does happen. I remember doing one show in particular, and I looked down in the audience, and there was two boys with bandanas over their faces.
Right.
As it turns out, they were straight edgers, but I didn't know that.
What's a straight edger?
Straight edger is like, you know, you don't drink, you don't smoke, you have a certain philosophy by which you live. And
okay.
Anyway, to cut long story short, I saw these two kids and they had bandanas over their face, and I thought in that split second that you do, I'm like, oh my God, they're here to kill me. Yeah. And I said over the mic, are you two here to hurt me? And they like pulled their bandanas off immediately and went, no, you know, of course not.
No, we just don't want the smell of marijuana in our lungs. Yeah,
but I have that funny like click where I just think there's absolutely nothing I can do about it. If somebody is going to hurt me, there's nothing I can do about it.
I move a lot on stage.
I'm moving target.
I move up and down. I see comedians are just standing
really
there.
Fast.
Louis C.K. and Dave Chappelle just standing there like, I ain't standing there. I learned in Glasgow, I am moving. Because there's a bottle coming.
I've had a lot of bottles.
Yeah, that's very dangerous.
Yeah, hits right smack in my teeth. I'm lucky I didn't lose my teeth.
Jeez, where did that? Was that a festival?
Oh, it's happened a lot over the years. Shoes. I've had a lot of shoes in my face, too.
Oh. Underpants. I get a lot of underpants. Yeah. But weirdly, men's underpants. Try these on! They're from women who want to give me new underpants. That's just the thing. Weird. I seem to inspire that in women.
Your reputation precedes
That's right. Try these on. These might fit. These will work on your weird scrotum.
That's yucky.
No, I don't get anything at that.
Oh my.
Do you get a lot of, women who are successful in rock and roll, from the very beginning, what you do is sexualized right away. Mm-hmm. Right away. It's not done as much to male performers in rock and roll. A lot of them use it, but it's not done nearly in the same way. But every female singer, it's sexualized immediately. Was that something that made you uncomfortable? Did you ever use it? Did you ever exploit it, do you think?
Well, of course I used it. I mean, I'd be an idiot not to.
Right.
But I was very careful how I used it, and I used it very rarely when I really felt like it was, going to help my band.
Right.
Sure. Yeah, I used it. But I don't think I used it in the way... I certainly could have really capitalized on it, and I didn't.
Right.
But yeah, of course.
It's kind of an odd thing, because I think I have a friend in Scotland that you remind me of very much. Her name is Denise Minor. Do you know Denise? Mm-mm. Denise is a novelist and a writer. She's a very good one. She writes very dark, difficult crime stories. The most recent book she wrote was about Peter Manuel, who was the first serial killer in Scotland and the last person to be hanged in Scotland. And she writes some very dark stuff. And her husband Stevie is works with abused kids, and they're work in very dark world. And
that's the darkest of all
worlds. It's very, very but they're both very light and ebullient and nice people. But you remind me a lot of Denise in the sense that it's easier to be your friend than it is sometimes than I've experienced with women who are constantly, particularly women in show business. I don't mean all women, but women in show business who use sexuality as it's part of. I use this trick every day. I used to see it all the time in late night.
Of course, yeah.
Because you're doing an 8-minute talk with someone, and they've been told flirt with the host. That's how you do it. Flirt with the host.
How uncomfortable.
Well, it gets more and more because you get older and they send out these 20-year girls and they've been told by their publicist, flirt with the host. And I'm like, I'm your dad. You can't flirt with me. It's making me look creepy.
Yeah, it's making me look bad.
Yeah, and it's such an odd thing that I think...
But you're talking about, I mean, that is a cultural thing across the board where women are taught that to get ahead, they must use their beauty.
Right.
And to be the prettiest girl in the room is the highest of all currencies. Particularly in America, I think. I was lucky in Scotland. That really wasn't the case.
I don't feel like that's the case in Scotland.
No, it's not really. And we were taught to use our brains, and we were taught that, you had to be able to have, good conversation, and, the culture's based on discussions, really, to talk, because we're stuck inside a lot of the time.
Right,
the weather.
that's right.
Whereas here in America, around which all major entertainment, certainly as I was growing up, came from, women were, I think, taught that they had to be really beautiful, and people had to want to have sex with them. And if they found themselves not with someone who didn't want to have sex with them, that would be a problem for them in their career. They had to bewitch every single man and woman, and if they did, then they would be a star. I really think
I think that in Los Angeles and New York, I think that's absolutely true. I think they're in America, I don't think.
No, of course not the rest of the world.
But
I'm talking specifically about the entertainment industry.
Right, the entertainment business is very like that, I think. What I also noticed, in which I kind of was surprised by my own prejudice in this, because I have this prejudice, is very occasionally, it didn't happen too often, but it happened every now and again, that someone very beautiful would come on when I was doing late night. And late night is where they just trot them out in front of you. Here in this studio, this is my house. I only talk to people that I want to talk to. But in late night, it's a farm. They're just throwing them at you. And occasionally, there would be a beautiful young woman who would come out, who I would judge immediately as, okay, I'm going to get through this. And I'd be wrong. And that's fascinating to me, because it didn't fascinate me with beautiful young men, because I'm not sexually attracted to beautiful young men, and I'm not and I don't prejudge them and say, I actually think I probably was a beautiful young man myself once as well, so I know what it's like to feel that inside. But there occasionally there'd be beautiful young women and you go, my God, you're really smart and really interesting, and now how do I talk to you? And it became a challenge sometimes to deal with that. Because how do you get past looking like, if you're a man, looking like being interested in someone is a sexual advance?
Yeah, I mean, it's complex. It is very difficult, I think, for really beautiful women who are really smart and really talented. I really genuinely think it's hard.
I think it is too. I really do.
I've asked some girls that I know, what's it like being as beautiful as you? And they know that they're beautiful, and they say it's been very, very difficult. Women don't want to be your friend, and men are uncomfortable. And, a lot of the time they spend their lives kind of in and out of relationships because they can't sustain one. And I don't know, it's complicated.
It is. I mean, it's interesting, and it's very Scottish of you to excuse yourself from that, because I'm actually asking you about that. You have that aura, that desirability, that rock star beauty, sexuality. It's all right there. It definitely is. And I'm not... I mean, I say that because I'm comfortable saying it with you. I'm not hitting on you, but I'm like, it's there, and it's kind of, it is something which I find. How do you deal with prejudice? Because that's really what it is.
I don't see. I mean, first of all, it's so sweet that you would think of me that way. But I am a strange-looking girl who's made herself attractive to people.
Well, that's just the kind of thing I like.
I mean, I'm genuinely not. I mean, I know this. My mother even said it. I remember, my two sisters are very beautiful, and I said to my mum once, Mum, Lindy and Sarah, they're so beautiful, and I feel so, I'm weird looking. And she said, well, she goes, yeah, but you have other talents. And she goes, you've got an incredible personality. That was my mum who said that to me. And I feel like...
I don't know how...
I'm weird looking. You ever see me without makeup? I mean, I look bizarre.
Yeah, that's okay.
I'm a bizarre looking person, so I wasn't born beautiful. I have conned some people into thinking I'm attractive, namely Billy Bush.
Yeah, the good one.
The good one.
Or well, it remains to be seen.
Yes,
until the trial is over. Yeah,
God bless him. But I know women who are equally as beautiful when they've spent 8 hours in the beauty chair as when they wake up in the morning, and that I think it must be a very difficult curse in a funny way.
It'd be an odd thing if people just judge you for it.
Well, you're stuck, aren't you? Because you'll never be respected for your brain in the same way as someone who's not as good looking as you.
Unless you just make a decision and get really fat, and then you'll be all right. It's like if you say, all right, well, look, because you could jettison beauty, you can get rid of it. It's not like you can say, well, people are judging me because I'm black. So, but there's nothing I can do about it. I'm black. I mean, if you're beautiful, you can say, all right, well, I can, put on tons of weight and get a crap haircut and get really unflattering glasses and wear cargo shorts all day. And, you'll soon be rid of all the beauty. It'll go away.
Very true. But then I think when you are beautiful, you realise that gets you places.
Right. It's a double-edged sword.
It's a double-edged sword.
And also, it's nice to be attractive. I always think that when I ever, I've got this weird fame that sometimes I'm famous and sometimes I'm not. And, whenever I want people to know who I am, it's never the one. It's never. Well, I can switch it on a little bit, but it's never really who I want to. If I want somebody to come over and say, "I really love your work," it's always the person standing next to that person.
Sure.
So I think I can turn it on, but my aim is off. So I hit the person like the weird guy that's sticking forks in his eyes. That's the one that wants to come and say hello, instead of Dennis Hopper or something like that.
I can't imagine. I mean, this is. Yeah, I can't imagine your kind of fame. It must be very strange because, you really are known, particularly in America. I mean, all over the world, but particularly here.
Yeah.
By everybody.
I don't know if that's true.
It must be incredibly intrusive, though, because, I am well known in my sphere.
Right.
And I find that intrusive enough, I can't really go through an airport or go to a shop without someone knowing who you are. For a random example, I went and had a colonoscopy the other day because...
What? Me too!
Yeah, because when you hit 50
yes.
and they make you have a colonoscopy,
yes.
right? So I'm butt naked except for my little gown and I'm lying on the gurney and they're wheeling me into surgery and somebody out of the ether appears and puts their hand on my arm and looks very sympathetically down at me and says, I can't wait to come and see you in July.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I'm like, oh, man. I mean, that's intrusive, yes?
Yes, it is a little bit, but not as intrusive as the colonoscopy itself,
Indeed.
which is... did they put you out for it?
Thank God, yes, they did.
Yeah, I've just had my second one because I'm 55.
Why, they give you another one at 55?
Every 5 years now, girl.
For God's sake.
Yeah.
My colon apparently was beautiful. That's what the doctor said.
Yeah, I've got a photograph of mine.
I have too.
And the doctor signed it for me.
The doctor said to me, you've done an excellent job of cleaning your colon.
Oh, that just makes you feel good.
I felt proud. How sick is that?
Well,
that's really messed up.
You don't want to send somebody up there without having a
dirty
clean
colon.
Oh, my God. The day before, oh, my God. You got the you drink a little bit and then 6 hours later you drink the other part of it. And
the pill. They gave me a couple of pills.
I didn't get that. What's the pill?
I don't know, but they gave me a couple of pills and then you have to drink that stuff. And that night...
Oof.
I thought I was going to... Well, first of all, it made me want to vomit. I don't know why, which is not what I thought was supposed to do.
Yeah.
And I came out in a massive sweat and I was stuck on the toilet and I had to call the good Billy Bush and say, Billy Bush, I need a bucket.
I love that you call your husband Billy Bush as well. I think that's good. So there's no mistakes getting made about...
Oh, it wasn't glamorous, I can tell you.
No, it's not. That's true. But I have a secret weapon in my house.
Oh, of course you do. What is it?
Well, this is a tip for anyone who's got the cash to do it.
Uh-oh.
When I was in Japan...
Oh, God. You've got one of those amazing toilets.
Yes! I imported one!
I'm so jealous.
Oh, listen, for the colonoscopy prep, it's unbelievable.
Oh, yeah, when you can squirt that lovely
the
hot
water jet
on
man.
a dirty bottom. It's lovely.
Yeah, there's no paper involved. No paper at all.
Look at Joe's face. He's looking really, really appalled.
No, I think he's
I like
jealous.
I like a little bathroom talk.
Squirt.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
A little hot squirt.
Come on.
You like a hot squirt in your bum? This is something I didn't know about you, Joe. I you straight up vanilla.
No. When it comes to that, I want to be taken care of.
Okay, that's
Good.
fair enough.
Smart man.
Yeah, who doesn't love a hot squirt in the
jealous.
bum?
I might have to come to your house one day just to use your toilet.
Do you know the weird thing is
That would be amazing.
Yeah, and you can actually. If
Thanks,
you want,
pal.
Yeah, you can. You absolutely can. But it's kind of a shrine because what happens was Because they're expensive, these things. You
Yeah,
got to,
they really
they're really
are.
expensive. I'm used to kind of like...
No, they really are.
I mean, but...
They're thousands of dollars.
Yeah, thousands of dollars. But it's totally...
For a toilet.
Yeah, but it's... Look, guys, if you're me, you know, I don't do drugs, I don't gamble.
You've just got a clarty arse.
Yeah, I've got a clarity. Not anymore.
Clarty?
Well, you know.
Okay.
That's another Scottish.
It's a Scottish word.
Clarty.
Clarty.
You clarty-bism.
Yeah.
Clarty ass.
Yeah, if you hook up with somebody in Scotland and they say talk dirty to me, say you're a clarty-bism.
What? Is that bad?
You look like a midden.
Clarty-bism.
You look like a right clarty-bism.
It doesn't sound good without knowing what.
But it is.
I disagree. I'm getting very hot and bothered over here.
Clarty-bism.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, God, I cannot believe we're talking about...
Well, anyway,
Good
look,
thing.
here's the thing. I want to tell you about this toilet, because it's amazing. So I get this toilet. I had to import it from Japan. But it was round about the time of my 50th birthday. Actually. And what I wanted a present for... I know what a present. One of the things that Megan got me for my birthday was a signed photograph of an actress that I was in love with when I was a kid. She's dead now, sadly, but her name was Alexandra Bastido. Do you know who that is?
No, I don't know who that is.
Alexandra Bastido, there was a television show. You were maybe just a bit too young for it. It was called The Champions.
Yes, I remember.
You remember The Champions? She was the hot blonde girl on The Champions with the little tight Chanel suits. And
Yeah.
Jesus, that woman was so... I mean, like, I was about 7 or 8 years old, but that was definitely... It was sexual for me. I was like, whatever that is...
I like it.
I want to be all over that as quickly as possible. As soon as I can get my hands on something like that, I am never going to stop chasing that the rest of my damn life. So, I have always had this thing for Alexandra Bastido. So, she got me a signed photograph of Alexandra Bastido.
Oh my
And so, I thought, oh, we'll put it up in the bathroom because that would be funny. So we put up this little, and I call it now the Bastido. Because it's and the kids now call it the
That's
Bastido.
fantastic.
So now this woman that I revered and was sexually attracted to, her name is synonymous with going for a poop in my house. Which doesn't seem right, but it's the way it is now.
I'm sure she would approve.
I'm sure she'd be all right with it. My God, though. Who was yours when you were a kid? Who was the first person you looked at and went...
Sounds weird and it's a bit boasty, but I just met her.
Oh.
Whoa.
I was obsessed with Tatum ONeal when I was growing up.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah.
Like when I was a kid, like I went to see International Velvet.
Right.
And I wanted to be her.
Right.
And I was obsessed with that film, and I was obsessed with all Tatum ONeal performances. And I've just got this thing about her, and she's still... When I meet her, I kind of lose my cool, and I can't really string a sentence together. And like, I go back to my 11-year-old self.
I'm like that with Billy still.
Yeah,
With Billy
bet.
Connolly, I'm still like that with Billy. I'm like, oh,
Yeah, you
are
can't
like,
string a
I
sentence
can't really
together.
do it. I think he thinks I'm mad or something. It's like, why is this guy doing so well? Whenever I talk to him, he's like, Billy, achoo! I sneeze and I fart and run away. But I didn't want to be Alexandra Bastido. I'm talking like I was aware that I didn't want to be her.
Oh, who I was sexually attracted to?
Yeah, first time when you suddenly
Starsky.
go...
Michael
Starsky.
Glaser.
Oh, really? In Starsky and Hutch?
Oh, he did it for me.
Really?
Yeah.
That's.
Oh, God.
You like the big cable knit cardigans?
I
and
love
stuff?
the cable knit cardigan.
Right,
I
okay.
love the fact that he wasn't smooth. And my big sister, loved David Soul.
Right.
Who turned out to be a right creep.
Yeah, he was a little bit of a slapper, wasn't he?
Yeah, he beat women and
Oh, dear God.
he wasn't a cool guy. But I liked the friendly face of the funny friendly face. That's what
I
turned
once
me
auditioned
on.
for Paul Michael Glaser.
Come on.
Yeah, he was directing a movie that Shaquille O'Neal was in.
Whoa.
What,
And-
Kazam? Was it that movie?
It might have been, yeah,
Oh,
I don't know.
I saw that movie.
I auditioned
And?
for a part in that movie.
Was he funny and cute?
No, I didn't get along with him, and I certainly didn't get the job. He was like, well,
What do you mean
thanks
you
for
didn't
coming.
get along with them?
Well, I don't know. It
Can't
was just
imagine that.
It went badly. I mean, it was very early. I was like just got here. I'd never worked, and
Was he a dick?
I don't know, because I was too
Nervous.
wrapped up in my own kind of desperation to succeed. I think I was probably a dick. I probably overdid it, or I was too kind of needy. And when someone auditions and they're like that, it's very off-putting. It's very kind of...
I can imagine.
Yeah.
But didn't he have a wife who died of AIDS?
Yeah, the Elizabeth Glaser
That's
Pediatric
right.
AIDS Foundation thing is like
Big,
huge now.
yeah.
They got... I think she got it from a blood transfusion.
Wow.
It was right in the dark days of all that AIDS hysteria and madness and... Oh,
They're
God.
close, apparently, to getting they think they're close to having a cure entirely for
That's crazy.
HIV, yeah.
Because
it
there
really
was
is.
so many, like, I'm sure you do too, there's so many people I knew who died.
Yeah.
Just like they got it and died.
Yeah, it was the end of your days if you were diagnosed.
If they got diagnosed, it was a straight up death sentence.
And now that the life expectancy is really high, it's fantastic.
That's amazing. Well,
Science,
and then it shows
people,
you,
science.
It shows you what can be done when everybody concentrates on something.
Mm-hmm.
I get mad at the anti-vaxxers a little bit, with don't get. I'm thinking, like, really, because this is diseases we're talking about. Like, if you don't want to get your kids vaccinated all at once, that seems sensible. But you can, like, whooping cough is a real thing. And you can avoid it. And it kills children if they're not vaccinated.
Yeah.
I think you should probably have it.
It's just a lack of education, though, I think, to be fair.
Yeah, I think it is. And fear-mongering, Like, this caused a thing. Did it? Let's look into this a little bit. Did it really cause a thing?
Really look at the numbers.
Yeah.
And then let's just take a wee visit to India or,
place where
Africa and see what happens when you don't have
I
your
haven't
children
spent enough
vaccinated.
time in Africa. Central Africa. I think that's where I have to spend a little more time. You
Yeah,
should come with me.
I'm in.
I know a couple of Scottish guys in Central Africa. This is true. They're like the penguins of Madagascar. And they go from town to town setting up pediatric operating theatres.
Then they're heroes.
They
It's
are.
incredible.
But they're crazy. Like, they're armed. They're in, like, Land Rovers.
Yeah.
And they're like, because it's dangerous. Some of the places they go are dangerous. And they're like, yeah, we're setting up this. Get out of the way.
Wow.
And they set up these places. And
Brave people.
Yeah.
They really are heroes, I think.
yeah. It's crazy. Hey, we got to take a break. Are you hanging out? Are you, what are you doing?
Yeah, maybe.
All right.
Oh, okay.
Well, maybe Shirley's here when we get back. Maybe she's
Maybe I
not.
won't.
You just have to wait and see.
Welcome back to the Craig Ferguson Show. Too scared to call? That's okay. We won't bite. Maybe call? That's okay. We won't bite.
Louder?
Maybe just tweet
fine.
us
I can
at the
fix it
C
after.
Ferg Show. Go ahead. We're waiting for it. Yes, you. We're talking to you.
Yes, I'm talking to you.
Welcome back from more of number 2. The Craig Ferguson Show.
It's gonna be, yeah.
It's going to be yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be yeah. Yeah, another jingle which I think
I like
sets
that
up.
one.
Oh, you like that one?
Yeah.
It's going to be yeah. Oh, we were before you got here. Joe and I were thinking. I wonder if we could talk you and the band into doing a cover version of "I've Never Been to Me" by Charlene.
Well, I'm sure you could talk me into pretty much anything, quite frankly.
Jeez, that's just a terrifying thought. And I'm sure it's not true. Did you ever get involved in drugs and craziness when you were younger with the rock and roll scene?
I did, kind of.
But you
I
were-
was
it wasn't
never, I was never engulfed by it, and I was always a little scared of it.
Yeah.
So I was also very careful in some regards. The only thing I got a bit sloppy with was ecstasy.
I know I never took it because it kind of was done by the time I got sober. I got sober 25 years ago. So
That's incredible. You are my hero that you're completely clean. I think that's really incredible.
thanks.
No, I'm serious.
yeah.
I know how difficult it is for people to get clean after being
it can
old
be.
soaks.
It can be very
Yeah.
tough. The toughest time I've ever had sober has been touring.
Oh, interesting.
Touring with when life gets unreal. Because when I tour like a band. I'm
Yeah,
on the
of course
bus with
you
the
do.
boys, and we go. It's
City to city, and-
Yeah, it's just that. It's just like it's the only way I know how to do it. And anyway, it's fun, but it's dangerous.
Well, the wind down, I think, is what's the most dangerous. It's
Yeah.
dangerous enough preceding the show, but then after the show, you've had a great show and you're high
Yeah.
anyway. Then what do you do to get to bed? Because it's so hard to wind down, right?
Well, what do you do?
I don't know. I guess I'm lucky that I'm really well suited for what I do. Like although on the last tour I was drinking far too much.
Right.
I wouldn't drink after the show though. I'd always just have like a beer before I went on. But then that's 7. We play like 6 or 7 nights a week. That's a lot of alcohol for a woman. But anyway, I don't know what I do. I don't know. Talk until I fall asleep.
What I had on was leaving town that night. Like every gig, you run straight off. Like when the music plays when I finish, I run straight onto the bus
and zoom
and go. And so if we're like 7 hours or 5 hours on the bus, doesn't matter because you're on the bus, you'll watch a movie and everybody's together, and you know it kind of like. Well, Joe, you're there. It kind of creates a kind of like
it's
gang.
a fun kind of hangout after. And
it's like school camp.
A little bit.
Yeah, but snacks and tell stories.
Snacks.
And check tweets to see if people like the show.
Of course.
And that kind of did it. Is that I remember we watched all of Boardwalk Empire.
Yeah, that's a fun thing too to do the binge watching of shows. Yeah.
Best. It's like being little again because it's like watching shows with your family.
Right. Mm-hmm. And so but you had to but even then the constant I think the unreality of it or it's some weird kind of circus mentality to it. That's the hardest time I've had. Like on the last big tour I did, I was like I'm on the edge of getting drunk.
Yeah, I need to
get home. I canceled
you're
a bunch
unharnessed.
of gigs
I think that's the problem. You start to just be unfettered in all aspects of your life. You know, you're not having to worry about anything. You're not having to care about other people's feelings. It's really unhealthy.
Yeah, I think mentally. I looked at a couple of guys who have gone recently on tour. You know, guys who are on tour, and I was like, oh my God.
Musicians or comedians?
Musicians. No, I think most comedians don't tour the way I tour. Some of them do, but most of them don't tour. I tour like I'm in a band because I like that feeling.
You're also a musician.
Kind of feel that way, yeah. It kind of I'm comfortable like that. But I'm talking about musicians. I fear for them, you know. When you hear about, you know, because I know musicians who are trying to stay sober, and then you hear them go on tour. I'm like,
it's really
I don't
hard.
know if you should.
Did you know Chris Cornell?
I did not. Did you know him?
No, I didn't know him, but obviously he was our peer, so I know a lot of people who did.
Yeah, I kind of, you know, I'd seen him around campus and stuff, but it's such a horrible thing because there's no, you know, I wonder if you were at home would that have happened?
Probably not. I think there's a reason why a lot of those gents go out like that. They go out on tour, they go out on the tour bus, or they're in their hotel rooms. I mean, I think there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
It's a strange, lonely...
It's a weird thing, isn't it? Stuart Adamson, remember Stuart?
Yeah.
He went like that. Stuart was the Big Country he would be known for in America, but in a band called the Skids, when, I guess, right back then, right in the early days of punk and stuff. They were huge in Scotland. He was a very nice guy and got sober for a long time and a really talented guitarist, talented musician. It's such an odd darkness, all that. I wonder about it myself sometimes. Like, where the fuck does all that come from?
I'm just grateful I didn't have that gene that I got.
I think that's what it is. I think it's genetic.
Yeah, I think it is
and I
too.
really do. I think that's I worry for my own boys. I keep saying to them, no, we don't do that. You can't do that. You know, you can do anything you like, but that one's off.
Just make sure you find some really good documentaries that show it in its full glory, and I think that'll put anyone off for life.
Yeah. There's also some family members that I can put them in front of.
Yeah.
You know, and just go, here's your uncle, you know, and that kind of thing.
Did you ever see the Amy Winehouse documentary?
I did, yeah.
I thought that was really powerful of showing just the...
It was. I actually hated it.
Did you really? Why?
I did. Maybe because it's too close to home for me. You know, what I hated about it, I think, was that it made me feel like I was, in a weird way, it was kind of like I was a peeping Tom. You know, like I was, like everybody's watching this woman, because I know what to do when someone's like that. You know, I know how to walk into a situation like that, and I don't know if I could have saved Amy Winehouse. I'm not saying that. But I didn't see anyone attempt to do what I know to be the right thing. No,
nobody was doing the right thing, that's for sure.
And that made me angry about it.
Yeah.
And when I saw the guy pick up the Oscar for it, I can't remember the guy's name, but he said, I remember because it chilled me to the fucking bone. He said, this is for Amy, No, this is for the fans.
Oof.
Which is for, this is for Amy's fans. And she was, you were all she needed. And I was like, no, that's not fucking true, actually.
Yeah.
What she needed was someone who was not a fan at all.
Yeah.
Who could explain to her the conundrum and the danger and the catch-22 of her situation.
Right.
See,
it's funny that you've made me think, because I liked it because I felt like it wasn't as exploitive as I knew it could be, because there's
Right.
some insane footage out there of her, and I
Right.
felt they chose not to show that.
Right.
And they did save her some of her dignity and showed what an incredible musician she was, which I
Absolutely.
loved. And then the insidious sort of destruction of drugs on this beautiful, incredible talent. I don't know. I thought it spoke to me in that way. But I hear your point.
It's funny though. I mean, because listen, I'm no angel in this. I remember in late night there was a couple of sketches we did when we were making fun of her, and then I had to say, look, I don't think we should do this anymore. We did it a couple of times. You remember it, Joe?
Yeah,
Vaguely?
yeah, because it must have been early on, because I don't remember too
Yeah,
fondly.
we did it a little bit. It was...
I don't know if we all knew, though, just how sick she was.
I think I did. I think that's what makes me feel bad about it. I think I was like, oh, God, no, I know what that is. Just because I have it myself, not
Sure.
because I have any particular insight to it, but it's just that it's like... Because I remember saying, no, we can't do this.
Yeah, fair enough.
We gotta stop it. But we did do it. It does exist. It's out there. It's on. And that's the thing that bothers me a little bit about making fun of people. I have to be careful about that now.
Yeah, well, everybody was making fun of her, unfortunately, at that point, too.
I
It's
know.
almost like a fever that swept us over us all,
I know.
And then we start to understand what it is we're actually saying and doing. I mean,
I think as well the difficulty. One of the things I like about getting older is the ability to say, I was wrong. Mm-hmm. I was wrong. I shouldn't have done that. That was a mistake. I apologize. That was wrong.
Yeah.
And I feel I lose no power by saying that.
no, I agree.
It's like, fine. I have no excuses. I was wrong.
Well, again, that's just we go back to where we started with that idea of forgiving yourself. I think is sort of you do start to learn to do that as you get older. Otherwise, you will end up insane if you don't forgive yourself.
Yeah.
Who gets through life without making any mistakes? Nobody.
Exactly. That's what I think. What would you have done differently? Would you have done anything differently? Or I'm sure everybody would do some things differently, but is there anything you kind of think that was a real? I should have. I should have taken a left and I took a right.
There's a few tiny things that I mean, really petty things actually.
Right.
That still sticks in my mind that I wished I had not succumbed to. Pressure mostly from our, labels.
Right.
Yeah,
but same way with Sirius.
In general, I don't have any regrets because I feel like I'm happy where I am. So clearly, it all worked out okay.
Yeah, that's kind of a nice place to be.
Yeah, I don't think there's any point actually in regretting or thinking, oh, I wish I'd done it this way or that way. I feel like that's wasted energy. I think there's just no point.
I think you're right. I think that it's kind of like it's just what happened.
I'm here. I can't turn the clock back.
It's funny. I remember I get mad at people sometimes when I say, oh, I'm an alcoholic and that's why I did that stuff. They go, that's a cop out. They go,
piss
really
off.
cop out. Here's what's interesting about cop out: that you don't take responsibility for what you've done. It took me 7 years to pay back everybody the money I owed them when I got sober. 7 fucking years.
But also, I don't think people understand the toll it is to say to somebody, I'm an alcoholic.
Yeah, it's a little.
That's
tricky.
a lot.
Not so much now.
Yeah, but at the
beginning, oh my God, there was like, I remember the thing I was most embarrassed about was how much I had peed myself when I was drinking.
Wow.
And I would have killed myself when I got sober rather than tell you about that. And within 5 or 6 years, I was
telling everyone.
I was on TV talking about it, doing stand-up about it.
That's brilliant.
But that's the weirdest thing, the things. And I think that sometimes when I see, like I have a teenage son, and he doesn't, knock on wood, he doesn't seem to be particularly tortured, but teenage years are very difficult. And there's the teenage thing out, right? The Netflix thing, 13 Reasons Why, and, which I haven't seen it, but it makes me quite angry, the idea of it. It's like, which is just the kind of closed-minded bullshit that somebody in their 50s is usually guilty of. But the idea of if you are 15 years old and you're listening, or if you are embarrassed about something you've done in your life, it's quite interesting to you, because it really is possible to get to a point where it's a joke.
Yeah.
And I would have ended my existence rather than tell you something that I ended up telling on TV.
Yeah.
That's
I can honestly
crazy.
say almost every pain in my life has become funny as the further and further I've gotten away from it, you know. The darker things are sometimes, as if you're lucky enough to survive them, they become eventually kind of funny, or they become touchstones that you tell over and over and over and over again. Or
I think that's right. It become, and if you're me, I mean, like, you put them into songs, clearly, right?
sometimes,
Not always?
not always. I mean, there's just things that happen in your life that at the time, you think, I'm going to have to kill myself. I can't live through this humiliation.
Right.
For a random example, once when I went into a tent at school camp and I pulled down my waterproof trousers with my bottom exposed to the opening door flap, and I mistakenly brought everything down, and everybody from my school class saw the open door and my completely bare arse hole. You know, at 13 years old, that's intense humiliation.
Yeah, that's
now
tough.
I just think it's hilarious, but
No.
I honestly thought that I would have to remove myself from, life.
Yeah, no, I get it. And it's so bad. It's so bad. I think that's what I think, that, like, one of the number one killers of alcoholics is not alcohol, it's embarrassment. You know, it's like, oh, geez, I can't go back there and admit that, or do that, or say that, or even admit it about myself.
Which is funny, because if you actually think about yourself looking at an embarrassing situation that somebody else endures, never for an instance do you think much about it. But beyond the initial kind of snort or the peal of laughter, you never ever think again, oh, that was Craig. Do you remember when he pissed himself in front of me?
I think there's a few people.
No, but you know what I mean? It's not like you think about it very much or give it much weight.
I think that's true. There are people who did stupid things in my life. I'm like, oh, who cares?
Who cares? So you get over it.
Yeah, it's fine. You can't hang on to that shit. Well, Shirley.
Listen, I hope that you will enjoy Edinburgh.
I hope so too. I hope
and
have you
too,
left
Joe.
secrets around for us?
I haven't. I wish I'd
notes?
known.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd have left a
Leave
little
us notes in bookstores and
Yeah.
put us in
How long
scavenger
are you
hunt.
guys there for?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Wow, a long time.
I'll be there even longer than that.
I'm so jealous.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you've
miss
got
you.
some nice plans. You're going to go and do some nice things for
What
yourselves.
do we do?
Well,
Edinburgh
you're
Castle?
going to go to the Witchery, probably, would be my guess.
Oh, the Witchery. What is that?
It's a restaurant
It's a
everybody goes
delicious
to.
restaurant.
Is it?
Yeah.
Got some veggie options?
You'll get some, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they will have.
Yeah. McSween's
Yeah.
vegetarian haggis, you'll have some of that.
Oh, yeah, that stuff's so good.
Yeah.
But the seafood there and everything is delicious.
Yeah, no, it's really good. Do you eat that?
I'm not a seafood guy.
You don't
no.
eat any seafood?
No.
Oh.
Yeah.
For God's sake,
Joe's
Joe.
kosher. Are you kosher?
I'm not kosher, but
Where are you? Oh, no, I was just going to say, where are you staying?
Well, I'm staying in a secret,
Broadcast it, yeah, to
secret
the-
location.
yeah, I'll be in Edinburgh. I don't know where, but I'll be staying somewhere.
Yeah,
in Edinburgh.
Joe and Tomas have rented a flat in Edinburgh for the
brilliant.
festival.
Yeah,
So
very
they'll
excited.
be staying in some poor old lady's house,
Yeah.
making a fortune while the festival is on.
Oh yeah, I bet they do that, right? They Airbnb. raise the
Yeah,
prices.
yeah. My
Joe,
God.
do you wear a kilt?
No, and you're not allowed to, right? Unless you're supposed to. Unless they.
Nonsense.
Oh,
You
this is
wear
a.
'em.
They love
this is a
Americans in
Scottish.
kilts.
Yeah.
This is a Scottish joke. Oh, everyone's going to be wearing them. I show up. I'm the only guy wearing it.
Well,
Everyone laughs at me.
you'll have the hairiest legs.
I do have
already.
very hairy legs.
Yeah, I mean, you're almost covered in hair. I mean, we were thinking about putting a tire swing out the back for Joe. I mean, he really can. I mean, I've seen him use a pencil with his toes. He's a monkey.
I am. I'm not too far.
You're
off.
very,
Yeah,
he's very,
thank you.
very hairy man.
Yeah, I'm not
Which is-
ashamed.
Thank you for sharing that.
Well,
about Joe.
you
I'm
can
sure he
tell by
appreciates
looking at
you.
him.
I'm sure
Yeah,
he
no.
appreciates
Listen, the
you
bits of
sharing
Joe that you're seeing are the only bits I've seen. I'm not seeing any bits that you haven't seen.
Sure. Well, you've
know.
probably seen me with my shirt on once or twice, right?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, you two, calm
Well,
down.
no,
get a room.
like on the bus, changing after the shows, you know?
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
I guess I wasn't looking.
Oh.
I wasn't
So-
looking.
I worked
Do you
out
have-
so hard for him to see me like ripped on the bus, and it didn't pay off.
Do you have little bunks opposite each one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you do that?
Yeah, we have bunks.
Yeah, I love those bunks.
So
Although, have you
comfortable to
ever
sleep in.
been in one where you get your own private room?
Yes.
Like, wasn't that fantastic?
Well, I didn't like it because it was at the back.
Yeah, that's right, but I loved it.
Yeah.
But here's what happened to me is we got it by mistake. We were not supposed to get the tour bus with the private room at the back. I got it, obviously, because I was the
girl.
the female
Yeah.
lead singer. And my band stopped talking to me, essentially. They couldn't get past the resentment
Yes.
that I had my own room in the bus. They tried, but they just couldn't. They couldn't get it together.
I get the bus with the tour bus with the room at the back because it's my name on. It's
Sure.
not my. But here's the
Because you're
thing.
the star, darling.
But here's the thing. I
don't wanna be in it.
I don't use it.
Yeah,
I use it
brilliant.
to change after the show, and then I go and sleep in my bunk.
Yeah.
Because
That's
they
true.
wouldn't talk to me if I was in it.
It's true. It creates a funny...
It does. Creates a hierarchy that's not good.
it's not good. It's not good for touring life.
No.
I learnt my lesson.
We have the greatest tour driver as well. We always get the same bus driver, a guy called Ronnie. He does us and ZZ Top.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's really good.
Because
Do you-
we've had some hairy ones.
Yeah, we've had some bad ones.
We found ones drinking in bars like an hour before, due to drive us off. Things like that.
Yeah, that's terrible. No,
Really
Ronnie,
terrible.
we'll set you up with Ronnie.
Okay, cool.
Ronnie's awesome.
Sweetest man ever.
Sweetest man.
And does his homework. Like, he looks up every route. Because we've had guys where we were going and we're like, that road, it's winter. There's
That's
no way.
Turnaround Ted you just had.
Turnaround Ted?
Yeah.
Yeah, it might have been. Yeah.
Turn around, Ted.
Yeah, we got to turn
Yeah,
around.
you got
Why,
to-
Ted? Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We've been driving for 3 hours. Yeah, it turns out we had to go back to where we started
Yeah,
and go
turn
around.
around,
Are you
Ted.
kidding?
Oh no, Ronnie's he's good. He's been he's very interested in UFOs.
Yeah.
Oh, God, he's one of them.
Oh, but he's very funny and sweet.
Brilliant.
Yeah, you really like you
Well-
in particular really like Ronnie.
Well, I hope you have a good time with Ronnie.
Yeah, he's not coming to Scotland.
he's not coming to
though.
Scotland?
No, we can't take him there.
Yeah.
What is it? It's going to be 20 minutes from here
Are you
to there.
performing every night?
Yeah.
Every single night?
Do you want your family to come? We can get
I'm
them
sure
free
my
tickets.
dad would love to come.
Yeah, I'll keep
yeah.
it clean if your dad's in the church.
Oh, no, I wouldn't. Don't worry about him. He's
All
quite
right.
body.
All right.
Oh.
Oh.
Nice.
Yes.
Is he a minister, your dad?
No, but he's very involved with the church. And in fact, told me today that he's meeting with, you know how the General Assembly, which is the assembly of all Scottish Protestant
Churches.
religious leaders,
Yeah.
get together and they debate certain things. Well, apparently this week they're debating same-sex marriage, whether they should accept it or not accept it. And my dad is going to participate in the debate.
And do we know, or will you be prepared to talk about his position on
His
it?
position is he's for same-sex marriage.
Good!
Oh, yeah.
That's
sounds nice.
good.
He's definitely invited to the show.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Just in case we
My
perform
dad's a
any.
good man.
Yeah, we might have same-sex marriages on
That's,
the show.
it's interesting. I wonder how that'll go for the General Assembly of the Church of Scotland. I'm sure America is on tenterhooks waiting to the result, but it's kind of interesting.
Who cares?
It's legal in Scotland now, though. That's the main thing, right?
Yes.
I think
believe
it's.
so.
I think once it's legal, as long as it's legal rights, then then it's everybody else's business. I don't care, But then again, I'm not a gay man, so it's not really. But I care about things that don't affect me. Wait a minute, no. But I think.
Well, we
that-
have to. Sometimes we have to care about things that don't affect us.
Yes.
We can't
the
just
kids because
sit
they're
back
a
and
measure of
watch.
society,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it's like, look, here's how you tell a society straight off. How do they treat the people who are weaker?
Yes.
How
on
do
the
you-
sidelines.
How does a society treat their women? If a society treats their women badly, then it's a bad setup and it's going to get worse.
Yeah, for everyone.
For everyone, yeah, of course. If you treat minorities badly, if you treat then things are going to get worse. I think that's
For everyone.
for everyone.
Yeah.
Because it's society. That's what it is.
Yeah.
When they say, why should I pay for that? Because we're all in this together
That's right.
or we're not.
Yes, exactly. I totally agree. But unfortunately, many, many people don't.
I know.
And they don't really think in broad terms. They think only in small, myopic terms.
I know.
I mean, what I've never understood is why, rich people are aggrieved about paying taxes. Because I feel like, okay, so you pay your taxes, you're still going to be rich, but
Right.
you'll just have a happier society so that when you step out of your mansion, you walk down the street, you're not going to get mugged.
Yeah.
If we have a more balanced society, you're gonna feel more safe, you're going to have less murders and crimes and
I
misdemeanors.
agree, all of that. I mean, here's my. If I ever told you this is how we fix the world.
No, please
All
do.
right, here it is. It's very simple. You start paying teachers right now. All
Yeah,
teachers,
absolutely. Amen.
$100,000 a year base salary. That's where it starts. So you immediately create, one, better people want to be teachers, right? Because they're like, oh, this is a great job. Two, it becomes an aspirational position for pupils. That's very important.
Yes.
So now kids are now learning for people to go, this guy's on at least $100,000 a year. I got to, what is he? Because everything is so much about money and how much you earn. Then you don't make it aspirational to be a criminal or a YouTube star. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing in the case of the YouTube star. But but you make it, if you use if it's an aspirational society, then make people who are in admirable positions aspirational.
Absolutely.
Pay nurses, pay teachers, pay cops. I remember seeing a guy in Ferguson, actually, where he was talking about one of the way to behave. This guy was he was an African American, and he was a vet who had done 2 tours of I think Afghanistan. And he was talking about protocol. And he said, what is the protocol for taking out the gun? Because I've been in combat, and we've got a bunch of checklists that we have to go through every single time before we discharge a weapon. So either there's something wrong with their protocol, or there's something wrong with the people they're hiring. It's as simple as that.
Wow.
You don't, there's something wrong with the training, or there's something wrong with the people. And I think that...
Or a bit of both.
Yeah, or a bit of both. And I think that it's kind of, I wonder sometimes, at the same time, when I hear it's like, the rich white guys, and I'm like, well, hang on a minute, I'm a rich white guy. I didn't do it. What have I done? What did I do that was so bad? I mean, I made some money. I mean, I'm not rich in the terms that these guys are talking about rich, like, corporation rich. I'm rich in, like, I'll admit it, I've got 2 cars. That kind of rich. Oh, yeah.
And that's rich.
Oh, yeah. It is. From where I came from.
From where I came from, that's rich.
Yeah, we had a car, but it was in the garage, and it was a Hillman Hunter, and it didn't work. But I've seen it a couple of times.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it.
But the problem isn't rich people. It's rich people who don't want other people to...
People.
It's greedy
It's
people.
greedy
and,
people.
and rich people who don't seem to have a concern for those who are not as well set up as they are to make money, and
sad that,
it's
isn't
really complicated and whatever.
But then again, it says, even in literature, which I believe your father would be familiar with, if a man inherit the whole world but lose his immortal soul, then he has nothing, or something like that. I don't know. I'm not big on scripture, but it is that thing, right? It's like, what's the point of having all that? You get a short time. It's a date, a hyphen, and then another date. That's it. That's all anybody gets. So what are you going to do with a hyphen? And I'm not saying hymen. That's a completely different thing.
No, sure.
Yeah.
God, I haven't heard the word hymen in years.
You know what? I don't think I've ever used it.
Oh my God, that's a blast from the past.
Yeah, well, I don't think there's news there, actually.
The hymen, oh Lord.
I know. Well, that's it. You stayed longer than...
I did. I overstayed my welcome.
No, you did not. I'm delighted you stayed so long.
Thank you for having me. It was delightful to pop in.
It was lovely to see you.
Drop back home now.
Yeah, go home and enjoy, and
I'll go home and enjoy.
Enjoy the rest of the tour.
And you enjoy Edinburgh.
Oh,
thank you
Send it my
very
love.
much.
I hope you get good weather.
I don't care.
Yeah, fair enough.
But
still,
what is good weather in August?
Just not freezing and pissing with rain.
Yeah, that's kind of it.
But it could be warm too.
Oh yes,
It's possible,
but
I
it
guess.
could be freezing and pissing with rain. I
Right.
think maybe missed that the
So
first time.
for
around.
packing, pack for both?
Waterproofs. I'm sounding like my granny. Waterproofs.
Right, it's waterproofs and layers.
Waterproof.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I got to start packing like tonight, so I should.
Yeah.
know.
Yes.
So
Waterproof layers. Okay.
waterproofs
And listeners who
layers.
are going to.
Yeah, any of you guys who are coming to Edinburgh to see us, waterproofs and layers. And you know what? If you did something embarrassing, it's okay. It's going to be all right.
It's all going to be fine.
It's all going to be fine. I love you, Shirley.
I love
I love
you
you
too,
too, Malibu
Craig.
Joe. But I love you more, Shirley. See you later.
And there you have it. It's the end of the show. If you enjoyed those 2 hours of number 2 and want to listen again, get the Sirius XM app.